Superman Up in the Sky issue 4 sees Superman and the Flash begin their monumental race of 10 laps around the world. The heroes take off, almost neck and neck, but soon Superman falls behind, with the narrator saying that they remember that's when people started to groan, since everyone thought the Flash would win since he's the fastest person alive. People complained since this race was now boring, and the only person not frustrated was Lex Luthor, who, since he hates Superman, he called a charity saying that he would match the money made in the charity race if Superman won, but the charity had to keep it a secret since he didn't want Superman learning what was at stake, since it would make Superman feel bad if he lost. He knew Superman would lose and he was waiting so he could tell the world it was Superman's fault he didn't donate the money. Superman of course knew thanks to his super hearing, so he knew he had to win, but knew he couldn't tell the Flash to lose or try and break the rules since he's Superman and Superman doesn't cheat. On the 6th lap of the race, Superman caught up to the Flash and everyone got excited for the race again. But on the 7th lap, Superman stops since he was losing too much energy in the catch-up and needed a second to catch his breath. Doing so made him fall behind again and think that maybe Lex Luthor would win this time. Superman knew he couldn't let the world lose getting $1 billion to make it a better place, and the narrator says that Superman is a contradiction, since being faster than a speeding bullet or more powerful than a locomotive is a contradiction. But Superman is all those things and more, because he is Superman. The race comes to an end as Superman just manages to push himself enough to beat the Flash. Superman won the money from Lex, which was used to build a new shelter for kids where the narrator was sent one time. The building, however, has Lex's name plastered all over it, while Superman's victory was relegated to a small plaque in the back near the bathrooms. The narrator is revealed to be the little girl Superman is looking for, who says that she doesn't know much about anything, but she does know about contradictions like Superman. Elsewhere, Superman is caught in an energy burst through space which separates the Superman persona from his Clark Kent persona. Superman grabs the suffocating Clark, racing down to the nearest planet. Superman says that this planet is isolated and for Clark to get a spacesuit it would take 37 days, which isn't worth the effort. The hero says that he will take the day to settle Clark on the ice world, getting him food and shelter so he can live there until he is found by the Green Lantern Corps once Superman returns to Earth. Superman goes and kills a mammoth-like creature, apologizing for its death. Returning with food for Clark, Superman says that he also built him a cave to store his meat. He asks Clark if there is anything else he needs before he leaves, and Clark says, "What about the girl Alice?" The next day, Clark awakens to find Superman is still there, and he says he has no reason to save Alice since Superman is the guardian of Earth, and every moment he's away, people die. Clark understands that since he heard it the night before and wants Superman to leave. Superman says that being a Kryptonian, he is promised to one law, the law of science and truth. Clark wishes him luck and Superman again says he cannot save the girl. Later, Clark begins to make a backpack so he can travel the planet, since there has to be something there that will help him get off-world. Superman says that he searched the entire planet and found nothing, so Clark won't either, and even if he did get off-world, he doesn't have his powers, so he won't succeed in finding the girl. Clark says that it's his time to waste and his life to lose, so he's going to continue. Superman says how noble of him to give his life for her, but it's the attitude of Earth and Ma and Pa Kent that drives him to do that. Clark knows that Superman saying that is the attitude of Krypton, but Superman says Clark makes him weak, but Clark thinks Superman never made him strong. Superman tells Clark that neither of them can actually save the girl, and his need for well-being is misplaced. Clark throws his stone knife at Superman, smashing it on his chest, as Superman says that this perfectly encapsulates how uninvolved humans are. Clark yells at him, telling him to leave since that's what Superman does. He goes up and away. Superman does, but later he returns, again saying he can't save the girl, but Clark says he's well aware. But it seems the only thing he can't do is leave. Superman says that he doesn't understand himself and he should be more evolved now. But Clark says it's what they have always known, and it's that Superman needs Clark Kent's strength, and the only way they can become one again is if they go into space and try and get hit by the energy wave again. Superman says that that's absurd since if he takes Clark into space, he will die. but Clark knows that if he doesn't, Alice is dead. With no other choice, Superman takes Clark into the sky, and Clark says this is hope, but Superman says that hope is a myth used to motivate men, and Clark says that he almost says that like it's a bad thing. Superman Up in the Sky issue 4 continued to prove my point in that these are stories Tom King just wrote, then loosely connected them with the plot of The Little Girl after the fact. The difference this time is that there's some reason more of his pretentious repeating of dialogue over and over again, repeating certain words and phrases and stuff, as well as using 10 words where 2 will do, which leads us to pages just covered in text. The first story with the Flash was full of it, and also, come on, even I know the Flash can beat Superman in a race. It's very obvious. I did like the idea, however, in that story that Lex ultimately won against Superman, despite Superman actually winning the race. He still won because he got his name on the building, got all the praise for donating the money. I liked that idea, and I wish that was more of the focus than talking about Superman being a contradiction and all that bullshit. The second story is something that has been done I don't know how many times before, which is the splitting of Superman and Clark Kent and getting that whole man and Superman. The story is even called Man and Superman. We see Clark just being the normal human, and Superman, because he doesn't have that human factor, just becomes a detached, cold alien. Wasn't anything new, which is a shame. I'm going to give this issue a 5 out of 10.